that overnight turns into a gland called the corpus luteum, which is why it's called luteal face.
Corpus luteum.
Corpus luteum.
Corpus luteum.
Go.
Corpus
luteum.
This is like
Sounds like a-
corpus luteum.
Corpus
I was
luteum.
going to say Harry Potter spell, but
Oh,
sure.
yeah. The corpus luteum.
Right?
Welcome back to Two Doting Dads and One Doting Mum. I'm Maddie J.
And I'm Ash.
And I'm Jackie.
And this is a podcast all about parenting. It is the good, it is the bad,
And the relatable.
and we don't give advice, Jackie, but you must. We insist. We insist.
We're not allowed to, but you are.
I didn't ever think that we would be doing a podcast episode on this topic.
I always knew we'd get here eventually.
One day.
Yeah, Ash has been pushing this narrative for...
We're
More
progressive dads, right?
Absolutely. Well said. Yes.
I did a podcast episode with Life Uncut, and I was open about the fact that I didn't know about, tampons and how they worked, pads,
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I was...
You think. You know.
I was verbally abused.
You did get I did. I don't check comments very often, but I was like, ooh, this is going to be juicy. And people were like...
Cancelled.
really?
So
Really?
then they were like, what a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
It was a bit mean.
Little bit mean. And so I've been a bit, I was like, I'm scared of the topic.
We're trying to get better at it
We
so
are
that
trying
it
to
doesn't
get better.
happen again.
Yeah. So you've
what
got,
I'm here for.
as my wife said, you've got your work cut out for you today.
Yeah, I did laugh. I was laughing at her. It was very funny.
She was like, good luck. You're fucking idiot. He's an idiot.
I'll just be running out the door later.
But let's find out a little bit about you first.
Yes.
Okay. So do you recall the most amount of trouble that you got in as a child?
Look, I wasn't that bad as a kid, but
We'll be the judge of that.
Who'd you kill? Who was it?
Close, actually. It was more aggression than anything.
Ooh.
I vividly remember it was back in the MSN days.
Mm-hmm.
You'd race home after school,
Was it
log
age,
on,
sex, location?
ASL.
Bam.
And be chatting to whoever the fuck we were chatting to. And then the phone rang and I picked it up because, back in the day of home phone.
Someone didn't have dial-up.
Yeah,
Oh,
I thought it was. I
ritzy.
I know. We also had Foxtel. I'm not gonna lie.
What?
What?
No.
Wait, what?
She had
Yeah,
Foxtel.
Foxtel.
You had Foxtel.
I had
That,
All-Star.
Yeah,
You
we
bloody,
were.
God, us battlers over in Brisbane. All we had was a fucking rusty wheel and a stick.
Sounds pretty good.
But no, I remember picking up the phone. It was a call for my sister, my elder sister. I've got two older sisters. And I was like, fuck. Ran, sprinted. And I'd previously had a fight with my sister just before this. Opened the door, piffed the phone very intentionally at my sister. Ran out because I have to go back to my MSN.
Yeah, of course.
So you were just annoyed that you
I was just annoyed at her. I was annoyed at, we had a fight, annoyed at her, grabbed the phone, answered, her, ran to the door, piffed the phone, got a phone call, ran off back to my MSN. Would have been 13.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then next minute, mum and my sister crying are at the door. And I'm like, oh,
What is it?
have to log off. Turn around.
GTG.
Big BRB. Turn around, big swollen lip. I've piffed the phone at her face.
Split her face open.
Piffed.
No, not her. Not
I've
split
not
her
heard of
face
piffed.
open.
That's,
Yeah, wait.
Piffed it real hard.
Yeah. Oh, from
Real
write
big-
that
oh.
down.
Right there. Hey, I bloody piffed it at her.
I'm learning heaps already.
What were the repercussions of the piffing?
Oh, I was off the MSN. It was go to your room. It was
I'm already in my room.
for a memory. I also bit my sister, but I was a lot younger then.
Whoa.
Okay, let's
I
break
reckon
this.
I was
Mike
younger.
Tyson over here.
Yeah,
Let's
see,
break that
that's the
down.
thing. It's more aggressive. I'm a bit worried. But no, I reckon I would have been like maybe 5 or 6. My other sister, middle sister, was standing in my doorway, not letting me out of my room. And so I bit her arm and she clearly flew down. I could go
Seems
out.
successful.
Yeah.
Did it draw blood?
Yeah.
Oh, very on brand.
So you're a vampire.
We're all about the bleeding.
Right.
If
So
it-
yeah, that,
if it makes you
aggressive tendencies maybe.
I was like 9. I piffed my sister in the face with my fist.
Oh, you
That is
piffed her real good.
that is called abuse.
Tell you what, though, I have...
Well, hang on. You're biting your sister and then I'm opening up and you're like, oh, that's...
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
a bit
well.
hard. I tell you what, a phone does that. I've piffed a phone at someone and
See?
split their eyebrow open, but he deserved a good
And you
piffing.
got all judgy on me just then.
Yeah.
What, you
That's-
split her face open?
When you're in the room, even if you come in with good intentions, everyone gets a bit of bullying.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
And I feel like the ice has been broken.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll be honest here. I'm going to be completely transparent.
Go.
And people may judge me for this, and that's fine. But I want to say I literally know next to nothing about periods other than there is blood and it happens once a month.
Yeah.
And it's the egg getting out of there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well said.
What's that called again? Do we know?
The embryo.
No. Where the egg comes out.
The vagina.
No, guys, come on. Ovulation.
I
I was going to say,
you
know
meant
this
technical.
one.
You meant technical. Okay, sorry.
So I guess, firstly, and I feel like it's happening more and more, when ballpark, in what age range does a period begin?
Yeah. So look, it can begin early, around 7, 8, 9. We would consider relatively early. Yeah, no, it sounds young.
Wow.
Yeah, it can happen. Probably on the rarer end. The average age in Australia is about 12 and a half.
It feels so soon.
Yeah.
I know, Marley's just turned 7.
I was a 10-year-old.
Really?
I was first day of grade 5. Yep, that's how I
First
remember.
day of grade
First day, yep, took a sickie because I was at home and I was like, oh, and in pain. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so quite young, right? Again, varies for everybody. And there's a few different things that can influence it, lifestyle, etc. But the average age is about 12 and a half.
And so when it happened for you, had you been given information by your parents?
No, it was so taboo.
Was it?
Dad, no idea. Like, didn't even talk to Dad about it. Told Mum goes, go to your sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, and Matt's
Yep.
got 3 girls. I have one, and
Yep.
she's nearly 5.
Yep.
When do you think is appropriate for us to both start to have that conversation as parents?
Look, I don't think it needs to, like with kids so young, I think it needs to be like a formal conversation right now.
Yeah, okay.
Or even ever potentially, but more so normalizing it in the house. You know.
Well, Laura's
with-
got like tampons are in the bathroom and they're like on display. And so
Yeah.
Marley's been inquisitive
Yep.
and asked about it. And so it's been a very casual, like,
Yeah.
this is what this does.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect place to start and start with those conversations early. You know, I'm a mum, so my kids always at my side. You know, I don't know why they never follow Dad, but they follow Mum into the bathroom. And then
I lock the door.
My daughter will go, "What's that?" Pulling out a tampon. I'm like, "Oh, it's a tampon. This is my period. Like this helps with, you know, helping stop the blood come out." And she goes, "Ugh." And I go, "No,
Fair
it's
reaction.
great. That's how you guys were made."
Wow.
And she goes, "Oh," and then just like walks off. But you know, like just making it such a non-thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think that's a really good place to start is being open about it. It's not a taboo thing. If your wives have their period, we just go, yeah, Mum's got to go change her tampon. Or here, I've bought you some tampons. Just dropping little nuggets like that along the way. Then when it does come to the time, let's say late primary school, we're somewhat prepared and understand that what goes on.
Do you remember, could you tell that something was about to happen when it happened for you the first time?
Yeah, generally most women will experience, or young girls will experience some kind of like spotting, which is a little bleed. They might get a little bit of bleed on their underwear
In the days leading up to
in the months leading up to.
Oh, the months leading
Yeah.
up. Okay.
So before their true first period, most women will start to, girls I should say, will start to get a little bit of spotting here or there. So even like, you know, doing washing, you guys might notice it, especially if they don't want to talk about it or a bit shy or a bit nervous. You might notice that first.
And so I'm sorry to like
Yeah, no, go.
really, 'cause at that point, do I start like putting tampons in Marley's bag or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think being prepared, girls, I think get to that age and they start to know and they're aware of it, right? And there's talk in school, there is programs at school. Most of them don't tend to start till late primary school, so it is a bit harder for the girls who do get it younger. So I think, you know, potentially even including it in the household earlier would be a great idea, just via, you know, those little nuggets, and especially with the wives, getting them to, you know, come here, have a look at this if you want, like just be super open about it. So I think it's a good thing to be prepared. Girls generally are aware that something is probably coming. What they're more scared of is not being prepared for it or leaking through their clothes.
Yeah,
right?
I can imagine the anxiety around that would be really high.
Yeah, 100%. So this is where, you know, and there's a vast array of period products we could use. I would suggest potentially pads or even period underwear are places to start with girls young, because a tampon can be a little bit invasive, which we can get into. But they're probably generally the more safer, comfortable options to start with.
And excuse my ignorance, a lot of my ignorance in this episode, because obviously we're learning here too. Matt and I had a bit of a discussion a little while ago about the cycle and how long the cycle is.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
everyone's going to be different, right? Can you give us an idea of what that looks like?
Right. So period is the beginning of your cycle. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I write this down?
We'll try to stay as basic as possible.
Okay, all right,
here.
all right.
All right. So you start, first day of your cycle is first day of bleeding.
Yep.
Then you have your period for generally about 4 to 7 days is what we would consider a healthy period.
And does the bleeding Does it start heavy and then taper off, or is it kind of
Most girls will get a bit of like a light bleed, which then gets into a heavy bleed. All right. So they might get a bit of spotting, which is just like, a little bit of dark brown type blood on toilet paper. They know their period's coming, and then their first day they get real bleed is what we consider day 1.
Like a heavy flow.
Yeah.
And sometimes like Laura will say, oh, this is such a heavy period. Like why sometimes they're really heavy and sometimes they're lighter? Why? I don't understand why it's not like the kind of same each time.
Yeah, really varies. So especially as we head towards like perimenopause years, things can change too. Like honestly, how long's a piece of string? That can be, like travel can delay things. Go in an airplane, things happen to the body that can delay it. Being sick can delay it. You can have more inflammatory markers in your body, which causes things to create a heavier bleed. There's lots of different reasons.
Right.
Where I say, if Laura's like, God, my period is just so heavy and it's not stopping being heavy, and that's a change for me. Anything that's a change in a woman that happens repetitively, I always say go and get investigated. But what causes it to be heavy? Very
Just
So
like a lot
many.
of factors.
Yeah.
Diet,
Yeah.
stuff like that
Yeah,
too?
nutrition,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hydration?
Hydration.
Have you ever been yourself been like, oh, this is kind of too heavy, I should speak to someone?
Personally, no, it hasn't happened for me, but I see that a lot in my clinic, right? Like girls are coming to me because they've got suddenly heavy periods, or they're constantly anemic because their periods are so heavy.
Wow.
Which is another thing women have to deal with is anemia, iron deficiency, which can cause, all sorts of feelings, emotions, energy level problems, etc. That another thing that women have to deal with.
So the first week we say is
your
your
period.
period.
Yeah,
What comes next?
So day 1, first day of bleed. We divide our cycle into 2 sections. We got follicular phase, which is phase the first half, and then we've got luteal phase, which is second half.
Okay, I've heard of that
All right,
one.
yes, good. You would have. Then whilst we're bleeding, we're in our follicular phase. We're already having follicles come to the surface of the ovary, prepping to hopefully get pregnant or get fertilized, right? So inside each follicle, picture the ovary like a big mine. And down the very, very bottom is all the eggs a woman will ever have. Then across months, it takes months for a bunch of follicles to rise to the surface of the ovary and get to the top of the mine. So that will happen every single month on both ovaries. About 10 to 20 follicles, generally somewhere in there, will come to the surface.
And that's the one that could...
They contain eggs. Each follicle contains an egg.
Okay.
Right? Then as we progress through our follicular phase, one of those follicles grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's the one that will end up ovulating. Now, in this follicular phase, this is where it's all about estrogen. We get a big rise of estrogen, a big surge of estrogen, which then triggers the brain to say, hey, brain, we're ready to ovulate. And then the brain goes, cool, ovary's ready, and it sends out a hormone called luteinizing hormone, which if you were ever trying to conceive and you're doing an ovulation stick test, that's what that measures.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much
go.
already.
So luteinizing hormone triggers thanks to this big estrogen surge, and it's the
Okay.
most amount of estrogen a woman will have in her cycle.
And is that good or bad?
It's good.
Okay, cool.
We want that, right?
Oh,
So that's a nice.
You got that right.
So we have that big surge, and then that triggers ovulation. So that follicle that grew bigger and bigger and bigger, that is the one that then ruptures, and that releases an egg. Then you've got about a 24-hour period where that egg can get fertilized. Now, whether a woman wants to make a baby or not, your body is always trying to make one.
Right.
Okay, so we've now released that egg. That egg then travels into the fallopian tube and hopefully meets a sperm. And if it doesn't meet a sperm, it will start to travel down into the uterus. Now, ovulation is the trigger point for the luteal phase. So where that follicle ruptured, right, that big follicle ruptured the egg, that overnight turns into a gland called the corpus luteum, which is why it's called luteal phase.
Corpus luteum.
Corpus luteum.
Corpus luteum.
Go.
Corpus
luteum.
This is like...
Sounds like a-
Corpus luteum.
Corpus luteum.
I was going to say Harry Potter spell, but sure.
Oh yeah, a corpus luteum.
Right? So that corpus luteum overnight grows up to about 4 centimeters in size, grows its own blood supply. Yeah, only like one of the non-diseased tissues that can do that. Pretty, like this is where women are just amazing.
Centimeters.
That's crazy.
Yeah, up to. Yeah, so it can get pretty big, right? Then that gland is a super energy hungry gland. It requires a lot of energy to do its thing, and that is what secretes progesterone. So then the second half of the cycle is all about progesterone. This is where ovulation is the main event, because if we don't ovulate, you won't make progesterone, and that can become an issue, which we'll talk about. So then you've ovulated, corpus luteum is made, progesterone surges right up. We then, at ovulation time, you get a minor drop in estrogen, okay? It drops by about 25 to 50% at ovulation for short term. So some women can also experience some problems and symptoms at mid-cycle too, which is probably something your listeners like, oh, that makes sense.
And can I just check the corpus luteum?
Well said.
Thank you. Where is that happening in the cycle?
So that's mid-cycle. That will, all right. So we're roughly anywhere between really day 10 to 20, but roughly day 14, 15, 16, you will ovulate.
Fortnight in. A fortnight in.
Yeah, kind
Yes.
of. Yeah. All right. And at this stage, a woman will also start to see some slimy mucus in her underwear, which we can talk about mucus later.
Is that discharge?
Yeah, discharge.
Well,
mucus,
is-
interchangeable.
I always, wondered what that stuff is.
Yours is
Yeah.
skinnies, hers is discharge.
Yeah.
That's how I put it.
So again, whenever you're doing washing with your kids as they get older, the gals,
Yeah.
you can even notice discoloration on the underwear because it's acidic.
Yeah.
Right. And you can get secretions or discharge which change the color of underwear. Completely normal. So you've ovulated. We're now making bulk progesterone. Okay. Progesterone is all about holding the endometrial lining in place and transforming it to hopefully help it hold a pregnancy. Because remember, your body is trying to make a pregnancy. And if it doesn't, then we end up with a period. Okay. So progesterone surges. We get another mini surge of estrogen in the second half, but it's all about progesterone really. And if we're not getting that progesterone, all we're getting is another second surge of estrogen. So that's why ovulation is so important. They work kind of together. They're kind of like a yin and yang hormone. All right. They sort of level each other out.
Yeah. Like
Then-
me and Ash.
Yeah, well said. You're on
I could
fire.
say many things.
You're
but
on
I
fire
won't.
right now. I'm just going to let you do your thing.
Then we get to our right before our period. We've got progesterone up, we've got estrogen up, and then we get a big plummet where those hormones fall away, which then triggers the uterine lining to shed, which then triggers the period. Now, this is the time where husbands go, oh, she's got a period. Dads
I
go,
would never.
"Oh,
Me either.
no, right? Yeah.
I've
So
learnt my lesson.
this is the time, and you would too. If you guys lost your testosterone by about, 80% in a weekend, in 2 days, the thing that makes you strong, that keeps your muscle, that keeps you happy, that keeps your libido up, that keeps your energy up. Imagine if that plummeted right down.
I would be such a whiny little bitch.
Oh
I'd be
yeah,
like,
you
"No,
guys,
get away from me."
you guys with the man flu would
I know.
really cop it.
I know. I'm so, as soon as I get a little bit sick, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, in our defense, that's why it hits us so hard because we're just not used to it. We're not used to
We're not as strong.
We're not used to the rocky road, you know?
Well,
Like,
okay,
like
exactly
a
right. You were winning.
A calm sea never made a good sailor.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, ride the wave.
Thank you.
Sure. So then, yeah, we
Because
get
you guys
that
are so
plummet.
strong.
Yeah, so strong. That's what it is. Well done.
we got
recovery, done. But then that drops and then that triggers the uterine lining to shed, okay, which is then the period. So the period is a big inflammatory event, all right? We have all these inflammatory markers coming to that area to help remove the old uterus lining. So basically the first half of the cycle where we get all that estrogen, that helps to build that lining, creates new tissue, new wall. And then we get progesterone, helps to hold it in and helps to transform it to be really healthy for a pregnancy. And then if we don't have a fertilized egg to trigger progesterone to keep being made, then the uterus lining sheds away. And then you've got uterus lining, you've got inflammatory fluid, and you've got blood. So a period is actually a combination of all three of those things.
Do you know what I thought?
What?
I thought the period started with the blood.
No,
The
that's
cycle, you mean? The
I,
cycle.
I thought the cycle started with like, we'll get rid of all the old stuff.
and start fresh. But it's actually
No,
the
it's
other
the
way
end
around.
of. Yes.
off.
There you go.
Far
Did
out.
you
Yep.
know that?
No.
I didn't know
There
that.
you go. We're learning something
So-
every day.
I thought,
You don't start off with the bleed. I've always said that.
I thought,
You finish off with it.
wow.
Yeah.
And it's like starting, it's like a new day, you dawn.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Sure.
Sorry.
We'll go with it.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make it make sense in my brain.
No, absolutely,
And I know
it is.
other men out there would be like, make Ash, make it make sense.
So really, the period is the symptom of the ovulation, right?
There it is.
And if we ovulate and we do have a fertilized egg, that egg then burrows in on that uterine lining into the wall.
and there's no period.
And then there's no period because that burrows in, your body goes, oh yeah, it starts to send out all these chemical messengers, and then it goes, cool, there's a pregnancy here. Progesterone continues to surge, which is why pregnant women get the pregnancy glow, because progesterone is just it's the healthy hair growth, all of that, right?
What's it called? Progesterone.
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 Yep, and estrogen also surges too. And then the pregnancy holds in place, and then there's no shed because it's burrowed into the uterine wall. Then your body will start to take over that corpus luteum, which has about a 10 to 16 day lifespan in a non-pregnant cycle. So that also dies off because that doesn't need to make progesterone anymore. But that, if there is a pregnancy, that will stay alive for the next 10 to 12 weeks until the placenta's formed. Then the placenta makes all the hormones.
This is
Got it?
wild
And
stuff.
am I correct in saying?
Probably not.
I don't he's done well so far.
That
you have done very well.
my girls,
Yep.
they currently in their body have all the eggs they will ever produce in their lifetime.
You are
Already?
right. Yep. So that little mine down the very bottom of the ovary has all the eggs. So really, Laura carried her grandchildren too. So
Fuck.
yep, makes sense.
What?
I know. So when Laura had your girls in her womb, your girls had all their eggs.
Already?
Yep, they'll have the most eggs they ever have when they're in utero.
And you can't gain more.
No.
You've
as far
got
as
what
we're
you've
aware
got.
right now,
That's so
you've got what
unfair.
you've got. Yep.
Sorry, the way you said that.
There is. Wow.
so unfair.
Can you imagine if we only had limited sperm and like the more we
Well,
eject,
yeah.
You teed me up for that one, didn't you? You were just like, here you go, little fella. Here's an upshot.
Ash gets to 18, they're like, he's infertile.
I'm done. No more.
That's the dream.
So yeah, and that's the thing, right? You guys can essentially keep going with sperm, and you can also make a baby any day you want, but a woman can only make a baby once a month.
And that's why a lot of people freeze their eggs, right? Because you only have a certain amount.
Yes, and so statistically by age, as you get past 35, it does get harder. You know, women are being more career driven now, the cost of living, all that sort of stuff, they're not sure, so they start to freeze eggs. Freezing eggs is kind of like an insurance policy, not a guarantee.
And do you think as we evolve as humans, that age is getting pushed out? Because, I mean, people are having babies later.
Yes, they are, but infertility rates are rising.
Okay, all right.
Right? Yeah.
So it's not actually, like, as we evolve, it's not actually.
It's not catching up. No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, at least not yet. That will take thousands of years.
Yeah,
You know? But yeah, no. So we're not. It's there's still infertility rates. I think a part of the rising rates is because women are having babies later.
Okay. Yeah.
And so how much, like, just so I understand, because I don't really know how much blood would come out.
Yeah.
Like, are we talking like,
So
like a cup or how much?
Around 25 to 80 mils, somewhere in there, is what we would consider a healthy period, which actually equates to double that in fluid. So that's blood. So if you got a heavy period, let's say you've got 100 mils coming out, you likely have 100 mil of blood and 200 mil of fluid.
Wow.
Yes.
And that's over the
But
course
that would
of
be
the week?
the course of the week, but that would be a heavy period. So, you know, no woman is going and measuring what they've got. No. But if you're changing your tampon or pad more than every 1 to 2 hours, less than every 3 hours, if you're changing it quite frequently, we would consider that heavy. A tampon or pad, you should get about sort of 3 to 4 hours use out of minimum.
Is that all?
That's what I mean. It's
What
inconvenient
did
in
you
life,
say the
isn't
other
it?
day? You said, isn't it? Was it a whole day? I don't know because I wouldn't know.
I never said that.
Yeah,
Jackie.
okay,
Don't,
sure.
don't,
Well,
like,
I didn't
don't
know.
believe me. I would
I'm
never.
not trying to make you the bad guy.
I said that in confidence.
Sorry, it was on a podcast.
So when that happens, right? Your first one, and then that's it, right? Then you can't. It's going to happen every month.
Pretty much, yeah. So again, when you girls first get it, right, it can be inconsistent. You can have a lot of the periods that we do get are anovulatory, meaning that no egg is released because your brain and your ovaries, you know how I said the LH comes out and the progesterone and the estrogen, they're between brain and ovaries. It's like a big group chat between a lot of them, right? And then they're signaling to each other. But it
MSN,
takes,
if you will.
MSN, if you will. It takes some years to develop that relationship, right? So it takes a couple years to really establish that. So the first year or two can be a little bit irregular.
Right.
But then thereafter, it's pretty good to go.
It's crazy how, my wife's still 35, how in tune she is with her own pure. And it's obviously like the same amongst a lot of women. They're like, I know myself.
Yeah.
And it must take all those years, obviously, of really like paying attention to your body, which is crazy because there's no way a man could do that.
No.
Which is, again.
And this is where, right, like, so yeah, we're talking roughly monthly. So an average cycle is anywhere between about 25 to 35 days long. So that's period to period. Okay.
25 to 35. That's quite a big.
Yeah. Most women will sit within like plus minus 1 to 3 days. So let's say I get a 30-day cycle. I might then get a 33, then a 32, then a 29, then a 30. That's a healthy variance. When we're getting huge variances, that's a bit of an issue. We're looking at things like PCOS, PMOS, etc. Another condition.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Polycystic ovarian syndrome or polycystic metabolic ovarian syndrome, which is the new name of PCOS.
They don't make it easy
No,
with the word.
no,
Just dumb it down.
Women's health is hard because it's a lot, right? A lot
Too
going
many
on.
syllables.
Can
Yes.
I ask you a really quick question? Is it an ick if your partner also follows you, like tracks your period?
No, that's a big green flag,
Yeah?
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to
because-
start then.
Can I mention his name? Tom.
Tom, yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to Tom.
No,
Shout out, Tom.
he does not track it.
Okay.
No. Too
But
busy.
what if he did?
But I think he knows. I think he knows where I'm at in each cycle. You know?
Good, okay.
But no, you can. So that's the beauty of period tracking apps now. You can actually, you yourself guys can log on and sync in with your wife's apps.
I'm gonna do it.
And then
I'm
you
gonna
know where she's going. Yeah. So Clue and Flow are, I think, are the two bigger user-friendly apps that most women will use. And your partner can sync into them. So you can literally look on your calendar and go, oh, Laura's ovulating. Let's go.
Do you think Tom tracking it makes you feel more supported? If he's aware of where you're at too?
I think it depends on the woman. I'm a very open book, and I'll say to him,
Hey,
"So,
well,
It's
okay,
happening!
We're on. Let's go."
April's the same. My wife's the
Right?
same.
Yeah. So I think it depends on the couple. But it's definitely, I would consider it a great thing if it means that you're going to be supportive with it.
Imagine if there's a dad listening right now and he puts the podcast down after it's finished and he's left a review.
5 stars.
And he
with a
goes
little
to
comment.
his
Send it to a
wife
friend.
and goes, hey, why don't we use this app and I can track your period? She'd be like, what the fuck?
I would be in love with him.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
There you
God.
go, boys.
If you're listening,
listening,
you're listening.
Give it to him, Matt. Tell him
Not
what to
single,
do.
but anyway.
You're just tracking all these other people's cycles.
No, so I think that's a great thing. If it means that you are going to now be more in tune with your wife and support her, right, or your partner, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's a great thing to do.
So the beginning of the cycle,
Yep.
day one, that's not the ovulation phase. is
No,
it?
so day one is bleeding.
Yeah, good, sorry,
Yeah.
yes, bleeding at the
Bleeding.
start. Sorry.
Ovulation in the middle, and then a bleed is essentially the end, or the hormones drop off. That triggers the end. Then the bleed starts the new cycle.
A bleed at front and back end. Bleed
Well,
start, bleed
It turns
finish.
into the one
It turns,
end.
yeah, it turns into the one end. So
The circle of life, if
yeah,
you will.
circle of life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like bleed.
So day one is when you're bleeding. That's the first day of your cycle. Then you get through middle phase, you ovulate. Then you get through, the hormones drop off, and then you start bleeding again from that one. Yeah,
And it flows on into the next
And it flows
bleed.
on, but we technically call that bleed the new cycle.
And so your body, because sometimes I'm like, wow, Laura is really horny.
Yeah, yeah, because the hormones.
Because the hormones
So
are like,
estrogen is a huge mood boosting. So this is the thing, right? Estrogen builds up the endometrial lining. However, it is also there as a mood booster. It runs like directly in line with serotonin, you know, a happy hormone, right? Helps to boost your mood, boosts libido. Testosterone also rises at ovulation time. Okay. So that's why increased libido. Yep. So we're getting these mood boosting benefits. Estrogen is also there to help support bone health, muscle mass building, right? It's a real energy building, like growth type hormone. And then you got progesterone, which is made in the second half, helps to hold the endometrial lining in place, helps to support a pregnancy, but then is also like the calm.
It really does take a village.
Yeah. Yeah. All of
All
them.
these different things.
So progesterone's the calming hormone, right? The one that makes us feel relaxed, level-headed, anti-anxiety, works on our mood. So as much as the hormones are there to help make a baby or not make a baby, they're also there to do things all over the body, right?
that is just, but
Yep.
I'm so interested.
it is wild what a woman's body goes through.
And that's the thing, right? So, you know, we look at it as a month, but each week is different. And in particular, ovulation time, the 24 hours is extremely different. Your bulk estrogen and then it drops.
Yeah,
And then you get
because-
into progesterone. Like it's very different week to week, day
Like,
to
and that's
day.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I-
until
I-
menopause.
Yeah.
I think when you look at, from my perspective, when I think about the concept of periods, and like, this is not correct. So just before you come for me with pitchforks, my appreciation is changing, but I was just like, oh yeah, it's when my
When you
wife bleed and when you get really moody and get really cranky.
Delicately. That was put very delicately.
Where's that knife gone?
Yeah. But you're not, look, I'm going to die on that sword with you. You're not wrong.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong. Yes.
Because like, how can I understand like once you have that, like the roller coaster, like the hormones, like the impact that it has. How did you describe it before of the drop phase when?
So right before your period, you'll have both progesterone and estrogen that plummet right off. It's like, you know, let's talk footy. If I send out my
There we go.
whole,
There we go.
I was
if
gonna
I
say,
send out
yeah.
my whole, can I go AFL? Or are we going rugby?
The real sports, so rugby.
How many on a rugby on the field? 11?
13.
13. If I send out all 13 players on field, ace, all right, we're likely to win. If I send out 2, how good's your team going to be?
Not very good.
All right, so that's like your hormones. We're bulk, we're great, we're going well, and then we plummet.
Yeah.
What if between the quarters I go, no, only 2 of you are going out. Everything dies down, not enough energy, not enough time to run, can't get the ball as well, right? Everything's going to function a lot poorer because it's not there.
Okay.
And that's what happens with hormones. They plummet off, and that's where the moods come in.
And is that when sometimes women will be like, oh, I just want to eat like chocolate and
Yep. So remember me, corpus luteum?
corpus luteum?
Yep.
Corpus luteum.
That guy.
Team corpus
All right?
luteum.
Super metabolically active, meaning he requires lots of nutrients and lots of calories, lots of energy.
Right.
That also secretes progesterone. Progesterone raises the basal body temperature, meaning that it raises our body temperature in the second half of the cycle too. So when people are doing fertility tracking, you'll hear about temperature tracking. We should see a consistent rise in the second half of the cycle.
Because if you're tracking, you could be like, oh, a corpus luteum, fucking here's a sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah. So this
Like,
is how
you-
to support your
Yeah,
wife.
it's like if she's
Bring
like,
her
I'm
food.
really hungry. Good news is I've already got a sweet treat for you right here.
Yes. You know, if you're
Boom.
synced in on the app and you come home like, God, which kind of wife am I coming home to today? Oh, she's luteal phase. Let's come home with a bottle of wine and a block of chocolate.
Oh yeah.
You are winning husband.
Dick in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, fuck yeah.
Make sure it's two.
But again, there's-
I want to double fist those bad boys.
And then in terms of like, obviously your body is going through a lot from a mental perspective.
Yep.
But then like I know that hot water bottle with the cramps.
Yep.
Physically, what does that feel like? And obviously everyone's different, but for yourself.
With cramping in particular, how do we describe it, Vic? God, twisting your internal organs and like a stab of the knife at the same time.
This is like the mind. The mind's
It's getting worked on, getting chipped away.
Yeah, it's like when I had that parasite that time.
Have you ever... I don't want to ask further.
You're on your own.
Right, have you ever like eaten something bad and you get all twisty and churny?
Yeah,
in your
that's the
stomach?
parasite.
So
That was
it's
the
like
parasite.
that, but then like in your pelvis, and it's almost like heavy feeling.
Thumping.
Yeah, thumping. It's
You
really,
poor things. I will
it's-
be nicer to
like
you
I
from
said,
now
it's
on, Vic.
inflammatory. But again, so knowing your daughters too, a painful period is normal to a degree.
Right.
Okay, so we want to be careful with making sure that we're getting them support if we need to as well.
Yeah, I feel bad being like, and then it's gonna fucking thump and it's gonna twist and it's gonna turn. I'm like, I'm scared.
So a minor pain that might need a Nurofen or whatever, that is somewhat normal. But if you are stopping your day, if you're crouching over in pain, that is not normal. And that can be things of like signs of things like endometriosis, which is a huge issue for a lot of women. It takes about 7 to 10 years to get a diagnosis because the only way of diagnosing is a laparoscopy, so a surgery. So this is where women's health is so far behind.
Endometriosis is
So the endometrial lining is what grows inside every month to hopefully help hold a pregnancy, and then that's what sheds, right? Then what can happen in endometriosis is where you get endometrial-like tissue that grows outside of the uterus. Yeah. So
Like
then,
another layer.
not necessarily layer, but like pockets. So it can happen on the ovaries, it can happen in the abdomen, and then women can get lots of pain. They get like a period pain up here rather than in their so it's very painful. And remember when I said ovulation, you get a mini short-term estrogen drop, that can also trigger pain of that endometrial tissue during the mid-cycle. So a lot of those endometriosis sufferers, they are experiencing pain mid-cycle, whole cycle. I've seen patients that are in pain all month.
wow.
And like it can then cause scar tissue adheres, and then like picture me like trying to pull gum apart, like it gets really like, and then you move, and exercise is a problem. Yeah, it's a very horrible condition.
I'll be fucking using my period as an excuse every other day. Sorry, I just can't record today.
Oh yeah.
Got my period
Imagine,
again.
I can't imagine.
But that's
like,
the thing though, women have to say that because they literally can't function in their day, and then you feel shit because then your boss is going, what the hell? But it is, it's happening, and women are getting dismissed for it, but it's actually a real problem.
That might lead us really nicely into some questions we got, because that's actually one of the first questions we got from the
go.
donors. We put it out there,
Go.
and we have a very strong donor community, and we
Yep.
appreciate them and appreciate you answering their questions. But that just tickles me here because Ashley wrote in and she said, how hormones affect moods. My boyfriend said a period isn't a valid reason to feel off. Oh, God. I know.
Oh, the rage. Sorry to that man if he's listening, but oh my God, it absolutely does. Like I said, if you guys lost your testosterone to low levels within a weekend, can you imagine what would happen to you? That's the thing that boosts your mood, builds your muscles, keeps you from getting fat, you know? That happens to a woman on a monthly basis where they have this beautiful dose of progesterone and estrogen. Like I said, they're there to help boost your mood, help with bone health, heart health, muscle health, immune health. They do things all outside of just making or not making a baby that then they plummet off. That causes a big mood shift.
And then also the pain, like,
And then the pain, and
like,
then they're trying to function in their day. They're trying to go to work. They're trying to run the household, whatever they're doing, still at that same capacity. Have you guys ever have you ever been on your iPhone and it, like
No, never.
you're at, I don't do that. When you're in a low battery mode, it gets to like 5% and it gets a bit glitchy. Like you're trying to do things and it just kind of like glitches out a little bit. It's like that. Like you're trying to run at full capacity, but it just isn't quite right. And then women will start to build up their estrogen again coming out of their bleed. And then things start to regulate again. They start to feel a bit better. Right. Now, again, in saying that, some women can get something called PMDD, which is post-menstrual dysphoric disorder, which can be a huge, like it's a sort of a hormonal imbalance. If not enough progesterone's made, we can have issues where they get extreme moods, like quite depressive, quite anxious in that week prior to their bleed. And then once they get their bleed, they're relieved of it. So again, that's another real condition that exists.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think use it as an excuse because it legitimately is one.
And if you look at those times in a woman's life, such as postpartum and menopause, perimenopause, where hormones drop quite rapidly, you see the mood changes. You can't deny that.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything that women can be doing to promote healthier periods?
Absolutely.
Which
a
are?
lot of things. We're looking at, I'm always foundations first, like healthy, nutritious diet as much as possible. High fiber, lots of protein, lots of whole foods, trying to steer clear of your takeaway foods, your processed foods, not too much alcohol. And again, everything balanced. But if you live majority of your life in a healthy way, then you have those treats on the side. That's really important. Sleep is another one, getting good sleep, stress levels, managing stress. And then checking in on your nutrient levels is really important too, especially, I'm biased here as a nutritionist, but checking in on those basics, B12, iron, vitamin D, which are so often so low in a woman. Just topping them up. They are basic foundational nutrients that help support our body's processes.
Because people have to get like an iron infusion.
Yeah, sometimes when it's really bad.
When it's really bad.
Yeah.
Is there, there's obviously direct links in there that.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there, obviously intaking of iron, but the iron, people have to get a fusion. Like, is it just, they just lack iron or what?
Yeah, well, when you're removing and not topping in as much as you can, then that's the issue, deficiency. Yeah, and then when hemoglobin, which is the oxygen carrying molecule, when that gets really low, that's what triggers the infusion, right? Mostly. But again, so eating iron-rich foods in particular, if you've got a really heavy period, there's some things that you can focus on. We can get really nichey, but from that general point of view, foundations first. Food, sleep, stress, exercise.
See, I know some women who were athletes and their body would stop the period.
Bodybuilding comp happened to me.
What happened? Yeah. So
Stopped completely.
So we were talking before record. And then Jackie was like, "Oh, I used to do a bodybuilding."
We were talking. She was flexing.
She
I don't know.
She was just squatting ass.
She was just like.
How did that come about that you were missing your period?
I was on the pill at the time, actually. I was 22, so 10 years ago now. And I started this bodybuilding comp, and within a month of officially starting, my period just didn't come. I would always get my withdrawal bleed, which, by the way, when you're in the pill, it's not a real period. It's called a withdrawal bleed. It's probably a conversation for another day. Okay. But so it just didn't come. So I had nothing there. And then I was like, oh, okay. So I just stopped taking the pill and then nothing ever came. And it was because of such a big loss of body fat, which is protective of your organs. Fat itself is active. That sends out hormones and all sorts of things, which is why also obesity can be a problem because that can disrupt things too. But when you lose so much body fat, basically your body is saying, hey, I'm not healthy enough to hold a pregnancy. We're not going to ovulate, right? And that all comes back to the brain, the thyroid communications between that and the ovaries, and making sure that your body's getting enough energy to actually support a pregnancy. Because remember, whether you want a baby or not, your body always wants you to have one.
Right. And if the body's like, we're not in a condition where we can sustain a pregnancy, we're not going to even bother.
We're not going to do it. So there's low energy availability. Yep. And then that causes the brain signaling to get a bit awry. And then we go, no, we're not having a baby. It's a protective mechanism. And going, we're not healthy enough to house a baby right now. And look, I totally get it. Like there's aspects of life where that's important for that woman at that time. She wants to hit her goals, do whatever sport it is. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be getting the hormones in that beautiful cyclical pattern when something like that's happening. It tends to mean low hormones, not enough energy.
Speaking of questions from doters, I've got one here that I would like to ask. This is from Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. That's Sarah spelled S-A-R-A-H.
Oh, thank God. Thank God, a normal spelling.
She says, I have an 11-year-old daughter and we have early signs of a period 5 weeks ago. She had a couple of days of light bleeding, but nothing since. Is it normal to get a bit of bleeding when you get your first period and then nothing for a while? She's well prepared and super emotional, and we talk about it a lot, but this is one thing I'm not too sure on.
Yes, so absolutely is normal. As I said, the brain and the ovaries communication, that takes a while to get in tune. So that first year or two, it can be a bit irregular. You can have anovulatory bleeds. So again, we're just building up estrogen, but then never getting that dose of progesterone. So that hence the mood, because progesterone is a beautiful anti-anxiety hormone, right? So then that's happening. It's all just trying to figure itself out, trying to figure out the lay of the land, and then it will become regular. So yes, normal, don't stress. Just be prepared more than anything with having, school bag topped up, things at home.
I love how prepared Sarah is.
Yeah.
Congratulations
She
on
is.
being
Well done.
prepared, and
Well
the
done.
communication is amazing.
Do you think, and everyone's different here, but when you think back to your first period, how do you wish your mum or your dad would have reacted, and what kind of communication would have helped you in that scenario?
It was so taboo for me. What was that when I was like 2004? I don't know. And it was just like I was Dolly Doctor. Like, seal the section, you peel the thing off.
I love that section.
That and my sisters, and even then my sisters and I didn't really talk about it much. I just think, like I said earlier, laying it in from early, around sons, around daughters. Periods are not a taboo topic. We talk about it and we don't slam it either. It's, Laura must be on a period.
Yes.
Oh, my dad used to say that, she must be on a period to me. And I'm like, fuck off, Dad.
When I hear someone say it now these days, like in and around wherever I'm at, it gives me the ick.
It is. It's really like I'm here for the banter. But that really pisses me off when that happens, right? Because it's like, well, fuck, you lose your hormones.
Yeah.
You deal with
Come
it.
over here, I'll chop your dick off.
And then, and then you tell me how you feel.
Sorry, that got big.
Right? Like, exactly. It's
I don't know if I'm like, and again, everyone's different, but I kind of want to celebrate it. I'm like,
Yes.
let's have a party.
period party. Let's do it.
Yeah.
One of the
I'm
girls.
like, is that weird? And my daughter's gonna be like, fuck off,
I'll never
Dad.
forget in year 7, one of the girls, we pretty much all had our period, and one of the girls was late. It was like the end of year 7, it's like approaching nearly 14. And then she got a period and we all had a huge party and we all gave her like, here's a tampon, here's a pad. Like we were all helping her out in the school walk. And then the next
Camaraderie.
day, then the next day, bless her, mum made muffins for everyone.
Period muffins.
What colour were the icing? What was the icing?
Let's go with red. I can't remember, but we'll go with red. Yeah, so celebrate it because it is. It's like the next stage of life. Like here we are, you celebrate when you go to school, when you get your first goal, when you do all that. Let's celebrate this. Why not? Like turn it into a thing where it's exciting rather than, oh shit.
I
gross.
was very late to hit puberty, and I was just begging for pubic hair. I was like, come on.
And so you know what though, that's the thing you guys will start to know, because the girls will start, the nipples start to pop out first and then the boobs start to come along. You'll need to get crop tops and bras generally before the period comes.
So how do you have that conversation?
I think your daughter will probably approach it, or you just sit them down and say, hey, I think we should go sports bra shopping. Do you want to go get some new clothes? And start there. Like make it again a thing. Let's go buy some new clothes.
Have a party.
Something like that.
I think my daughter will be like, Dad, please, like, don't fucking come to the shops with us.
No.
You're just going to talk about it on your podcast, Dad.
And that's a good point though. Like women don't need things to be fixed for us when it comes to this stuff, but we need support and not turning your nose up. I remember, so I used to use a menstrual cup, and at our old house we had a double shower. Tom and I would always double shower, shower next to each other. And it was like our catch up time, right? And then once I literally just in front of him pulled my menstrual cup out and tipped it down the drain. And he was like, oh.
Tom,
and I turned around to him and I said, don't fucking curl your nose off. I'm like, that's going to make us a baby one day. And he says, oh, whatever. And gets all like, about me. And then I'm like, yeah, no, like I get it. It can be a bit like in your face, but also shut up. I can't control it. Is what it is. Fuck.
do you call it? Sorry, I'm going to be stupid for a second.
Go.
Not protection. What do you call utensils? What do you call? Like what?
Sanitary items?
Again.
A knife and
Knife, ladle.
Sanitary items. Speaking of
Yes.
sanitary items, would you be able to run me through, myself and Ash, sanitary item options? Because I know like a tampon.
Yeah.
Sure. I now know that a pad sticks to the underwear.
Where did you think it stuck?
Although, actually, can I just for a hot second? There is
Yep.
actually a product. I was served an ad for it on social media. It's a waterproof swimming pad that attaches to the outer labia.
Oh, okay. Haven't
So
seen that
just-
one. That's a newbie.
So anyone who's like, you fucking
You've been
idiot.
Googling the right thing.
You said labia. I'm
Yeah, you
impressed.
did. Not just vagina.
I know. I'm so proud of myself.
So if I was where is the labia?
It's the outer lips.
The outer lips. You got majora, minora. The outer lips, like
You
basically
named
this-
yours?
Yeah. You got the outer lips, which is like the skin, and then the lips. What you
I'm going
think
to
of as
start
lips.
referring to my wife's vagina as the medical terms from now.
You should.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
She's going to love that.
So,
Are you a
on
fucking
that,
child?
I have
Yes.
clearly, I have show and tell.
Oh,
Let's
Yeah.
do this.
Great.
Let's quiz. Item number 1. I mean, podcast. I know we've got the videos. Long cotton fabric looking. What shape? Rounded oval thing.
Yeah.
What is this?
that's a pad.
That is a pad. Well done.
Okay. Is this
Now this, we pull the sticky back off,
Okay.
and that sticks on top of the underwear.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
If you're helping your daughters. Now, you want to make sure that it's like a pretty clear guess where you put it, like right in the middle of the underwear. You don't want to go too far forward, too far
Is there a
back, because
front
it'll
and
leak.
back?
Not, well, yeah.
That looks
that
like
way.
the front.
Yep.
There you go.
And now, as you can feel, that one, you can feel that it might lose its stick a bit. That's where I'm a big fan of these guys that we call wings. Pull
All
that
I picture
off.
is that ad where that guy was like,
Yeah, pad man. Choo, choo, choo. So this one is pad with wings. All right. I'm a big fan of this because it stops it from sliding around. So that goes on top, and then you curl them under the underwear and stick them in. So it's like a sticky bit.
not to the inner thigh.
Yeah.
And you could, if you're in the phase of cycle where you're bleeding a lot, you could be going through how many pads in a day?
In an ideal world with a healthy bleed, we would be changing a pad every 3 to 4 hours on our heaviest day.
Right.
However, you can get a heavier bleed than that or a lighter bleed. Okay, so some women do it hourly, which is where we get into heavy territory where generally something's up.
Right.
Right, so that's again, if your daughter's like, Dad, I'm going through these like every hour and I'm leaking everywhere, help me.
Speak to GP.
Speak to your GP,
Yep.
go to the doctor, get some blood work done, have a chat about the whole thing.
Yep.
So they're the 2 ones that are really good to start with. Second good one to start with. I mean, look, these, what would you call these?
They look like my underpants. Are they mine?
They're period underwear.
Period underwear,
Are they
all
quite
right?
new? Have they been around for a while?
Relatively new, yeah, a few years now. So you can see the lining, all right? That will absorb the blood, and then you wash it.
And have you tried these before?
They are, yeah, I love these as like a fail safe. So like, day 1, 2 or 3 is maybe your heaviest day. You can put your tampon in and wear that as like a backup, especially if you've got somewhere to go or something to do, or you want to wear white clothing or something. They're a really good backup.
And these are the great option if you think you're getting that spot bleeding with your young child
yeah,
and
you
they're
can
having their
potentially
first
do
period.
that too. Yep.
April has those. They take forever to dry after you wash them. Just
Yes.
an FYI.
Yes, because they're absorbent.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
that's right.
Yes.
Good little
And
tidbit.
now look, you can get that's one brand. You can get a whole array. You can get now some cool like lacy ones that are a bit nicer because they're a bit granny panty. But again, no one really cares. They just want the
Comfortable. You
want the comfort,
yeah.
yeah.
Then we've got this guy.
Ash, that's on you.
That is,
A rocket ship.
it's a menstrual cup.
It is a menstrual cup. Well done. So what would you call it? Conical, U-shaped.
May I touch it?
You can touch it. It's silicone.
Okay.
So,
And that what the
yep, this
what
one.
does that feel like inside you?
When it's in properly,
Bend
you
over and I'll
can't.
show you.
When it's in proper, you really can't feel it. But these guys are a bit tricky. But if you're someone with like a heavy bleed, they can be a bit helpful because it can generally store a bit more fluid than what, say, a tampon could.
And that, I'm assuming that like kind of nipple end is to like pinch it to
Let me show you how you do it. Yeah. So this one, you generally have to do like a C-shaped fold. So you do that, you fold it over, create that little C, and then stick it in. So see what I mean? Quite invasive. So you stick it in, then you push it up, and then you have to make sure it pops open.
And can I be really stupid for a second? You're going to lube that up before you insert
Not
it?
necessarily. No.
You can.
Yeah,
if
so
you
it can be a bit dry, but again, remember you got blood and stuff going on, so it's all but it is
want. But if
invasive.
you lube it up, it might slip out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. So that goes right in up and then catches it all. Okay. And then there's like, you need to make sure it pops open. You got to kind of run your finger around it or like twist it a bit to make sure it pops open. Bit invasive. Probably not the first thing to go for.
If you are wearing that,
Yep.
is that something you would check on?
You generally change it once a day. On your heavier days, you might want to change in the middle. So that's where they're really good, right? So eco-friendly, keep them. You put them in boiling water at the end of your bleed and that disinfects it. And then you boiling water it again when you start your bleed and then put it in.
Yeah.
So ideally, like put it in the morning, empty it at night, put it back in for nighttime, empty it in the morning.
And so then if you're working and you're having a heavy bleed and you're like wearing a menstrual cup and you're like, oh, I've got to go to the bathroom to...
It's a tricky point.
Wow.
So if you're not like in a disabled toilet where there's a sink, so that's again a part of the problems with these guys, right? They're a bit inconvenient if you've got a heavy bleed and are needing to change it. Again, you could do this and your underwear.
Yep.
So you think of your period or your sanitary items like a toolkit. Generally, women will use a couple in some way, shape or form, like you would shoes. You put your shoes on for your runners, you put your thongs on when you're going down the beach, they're all for different functions.
Yeah.
If I've got on my heavy bleed, got an important day, I'll probably wear, a cup and my period undies just to make sure.
Right.
But see what I mean? This is the shit women got to deal with,
I
man.
know. I'm just like, I don't know.
On a monthly basis.
I wouldn't be able to keep up with it all. If I had to do it, I'd be like, I don't know how you guys do it.
You'd forget.
I'd forget
I'd be like,
immediately.
you got your period again.
I
You'd
know
be like,
you can forget. You can. And you're like, oh, fuck. Yeah. And then this guy.
He's like, hey, man, brother.
I reckon every woman has forgotten and leaked at least once in her life.
Oh yeah. April the other day, her period's in our family calendar. Okay, so
Right.
I'm aware around about the time.
Yeah.
But the other day she was like, oh, it just leaked everywhere. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
She's obviously she was like, I'm having a heavy flow.
You can feel it sometimes. You can literally feel like a gush. Yeah,
Wow.
picture like a water bottle squeezing it. You can feel that.
Wow.
Yeah, you get this like. And then this guy, everyone will know that one. Cotton little plug. let's call it. Tampon.
Well
done. So this one doesn't just go and sit in like that, like on the edge. You have to push it up. Right. So you again finger in your vagina, and it goes up in.
how far up?
About like a bit of a finger. It depends on everyone's vagina versus where their cervix is. Et cetera.
How deep your vagina is.
How deep? Yep.
And how do you is it one of those things where you'll know when you've got the spot?
Yeah, you can't feel it once it's in there. Put it that way. And if you're feeling it, it will be uncomfortable. Like, if your daughters are now trying, you can also get tampon applicators, by the way. It's like a big bit of plastic that goes there and you push it up so you don't have to put your finger in.
Yeah.
Quick question for you, Matt.
Okay.
Do you know how big they get?
There we go. So that's probably not quite full. They'll get a little bit bigger.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's like a sponge.
Oh my goodness.
And then
Yeah,
so
it
when
expands a
it's
lot,
full,
eh?
it's full. And then when that gets full, you can leak. All right. So it's about changing at the right time. And they can be, if you're on like your lighter day, maybe it might be your last day of your bleed, that won't be completely full. Like it'll swell up like that, but you might get like only a little bit of blood on it. And then it can be a bit painful to pull out because it's dry, frictiony.
Yeah.
Right. It's meant to be absorbent. So that's like, and then one more.
Oh, there's more.
That's cute.
That's just a liner.
Yes, A+ for you, Ash.
Wow.
This is a liner, okay? So it can be used on like the last day if there's just a bit of spotting, which is just literally like a few trickles of blood. Also like mid-cycle with mucus and everything going on, discharge, which can happen. Women are meant to have discharge. That can be in there to help protect underwear and just feel a bit more comfortable as well.
Is it sticky on one side?
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. Same as a pad really, but just thinner.
I'm excited for
The future?
the moment to come. Yeah.
You're like standing by your kids going,
So real question
anytime
is,
now.
I'll be like, Laura, shh, I got this.
Real
Yeah.
question is if your girls, like any dads listening, if your girls got their period tomorrow, would you know what to do?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so this is where this sort of stuff is so important, just basic education of knowing that, like, go to the supermarket, grab it all. Let's try it. But I would say, pads and period underwear are probably the best place to start for a newbie. Less invasive, as you can see.
Obviously, that first few periods are a little bit irregular.
Yep.
But so you get the spot bleeding. You could be wearing because I like the idea of the undies.
Yep.
You could be wearing them for like a couple of weeks, right? Because you're not quite sure.
Well, yeah, you could just keep putting them on if you're not sure when it's coming.
You got to
Yeah.
wash
Yep.
them.
Or again, like, when you're, when you said a couple of weeks, I was
You
like,
can wear it for years.
But, you can be prepared with spare underwear as well in the bag because, they might bleed onto their underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Or to pack an extra school dress as well because it can leak. Generally, when it's earlier, it won't be super heavy. Like they'll notice spotting before it gets so heavy, but you never know.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. So the other thing too is that period undies are also great for when you're sleeping. Yep. Again, you can do like a double. You can put a tampon in if it's heavy and do the period undies, but they're super comfy for sleep. Just a great second option because no one wants to be waking up covered in blood. It's not
Were
fun.
you wearing period undies when you were younger?
No, they didn't exist.
So what would you do?
We were wearing
What,
pads.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then I reckon I got onto tampons after a couple of years.
Whoever invented the period undie, well done.
Yeah, really big.
They're
well
rolling in
done.
cash.
Yeah.
Growing up, is this field an area that you wanted to always work in?
No, it actually wasn't. So I actually wanted to be a coroner one day.
I've never
Believe
met
it or not.
anyone who had that dream.
What is a coroner?
Forensic pathologist, dead bodies, figuring out how they died, cutting them open. Yeah. No, weirdo. I've got this real big thing for crime shows. But anyway, no, I've always loved medicine, always loved the body. That I've always known. I used to beg my mum to stay up to watch ER, right?
That's because George Clooney's so handsome.
Oh, no.
No, not a
No,
Clooney.
not a Clooney fan. No, the other doctor, I can't remember his name. I used to like him. But anyway, no. So I've always liked the human body, right? Then I think a big stem for me was probably the bodybuilding comp. When I lost my period, it irritated me that I couldn't get the help that I wanted. And women's health is often quite neglected and you're often quite dismissed or pushed off for a psychological symptom when it's actually a physiological problem. So that definitely stemmed it. And I went and I actually studied my first degree in prosthetics and orthotics, making fake arms and legs. I used to do that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then went back to uni. I just didn't love it. Went back to uni, studied nutritional dietetic medicine, which is where I am now. And then I've just got I love human biology. Love the biochemistry of it all, real big niche of mine, I find. And then it just really drove me into women's health, I think, passionately, from the bodybuilding comp, losing my period. That was the real big driver. And it's just something that I just get. Like, it just flows off my tongue for me, you know?
You don't have a fridge full of old body parts, do you?
I just don't know.
It was giving that vibe. I like to hoard limbs of people.
Throwing a phone at my sister, and now we're here.
Yeah, I just see Matt. There's Matt.
As dads, what are some of the things that we shouldn't say to our daughters about periods?
She's on her period, you know, that tone, that
Dismissive.
that she's clearly moody. That's not good for anybody. We don't need to be fixing things too, right? It's just about supporting and being there, and it's not a taboo thing. You know, if she needs a tampon, go out and get her one. It's just about being a support system, really, and not degrading it, not belittling it, not making it taboo. I think that's really important more than anything. And welcome to womanhood. Like, no one wants to hear that. Or it's just a part of being a woman.
Take that off the little dialogue.
Yeah.
Party poppers.
Yeah. So they're sort of the biggest things. It's just about the support and not turning your nose up to it and not going, ew. And then sons, you know, I can only imagine, my son's only 2.5, but, you know, boys are little turds.
Oh, yeah.
I can only imagine him being like, don't condone that behavior. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, change that, and it's about healthy masculinity. I think that's all really important too. So even, you know, when we're educating and not tabooing, and, you know, Laura or April are like changing their tampon and their son's around, don't not do it because he's there. Do it in front of him.
Expose them to it so that it's normal.
Yeah, it's not a thing. It's just another day. If your sons are asking, I would just say it's a part of growing up. It's what eventuates to, you know, if you want to have children, that's what it's there for. It's just a normal part of your body, just like breathing, eating, sleeping. It's just another thing that happens to women and not men, because women are the ones that make babies. Really, that's what it's for.
It's a bit, I don't know who to blame for this. I'm sure there's people out there who have started this narrative, but like the stork brings the baby and they come from the cabbage from the garden.
Yeah, such a boomer
It's such a
thing.
Disney way of saying how people have kids.
Again, just be real. And like you can call it, I think it's also an important thing to label your body parts appropriately, especially when it comes to like, safety of children, etc. You know, labeling penis, vagina, only I touch it, whatever. Yeah, those things are really important. So for any dads listening today, just sitting here for the 1 hour and taking this knowledge in, you're going to be doing so much more than the average dad to support your wives and daughters through really their life journey. Women spend 40 years menstruating. So it's important that we know that for our wives and daughters.
God, the bar is low.
All you gotta do is support it, and that can be so easy, right? I mean, by just doing those little things.
Listen for an hour, and you're fucking
don't slap my bum in my luteal phase. That's what I always say.
Yeah, I've seen that.
My husband, he slaps me on the ass, and like, you know, beginning of my cycle, fine. But
once again,
luteal phase.
Tom, do better.
Tom, do better. Don't touch me.
I saw a video the other day of like someone doing that where it's like slapping the butt at the wrong time, and then it just comes up with like his funeral memorial.
Literally the same act can be so irritating at one point in your cycle, and then the next point it can be a turn on. So it's
wow, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm having some self-reflection.
It's all about timing.
I almost feel this sounds really woo-woo, like this little emotional connection to like the mind of the female body producing these eggs. And I'm like, fuck, go on you, mine. Like,
We're like,
it's working so hard.
Yeah, it is.
And then it comes to the end of its life cycle when periods will stop. And I'm going to assume that happens when there are no more eggs left in the body.
Exactly right. So as we start to age, we start to hit our perimenopause years. So let's do some definitions first. Menopause is defined as 12 months without a period. So you kind of diagnosed after the fact. Right. So once you've had no period for 12 months and you know around that late 40s, early 50s age, average age of menopause in Australia is 51. Once you hit that, then we're officially in menopause. But perimenopause is the lead up to. It's almost like puberty again, but on the reverse.
What happens to the body?
Yep. So about 7 to 10 years prior to actual menopause, that's how long we can get symptoms for. Yep. So really, late 30s is a sign to start watching out for things like perimenopause. In saying that, make sure you get checked up on things because it could be another condition that we don't want to just neglect for perimenopause, but it can start happening in late 30s, which is wild, which then means women go from potentially having a baby, all the huge rise and drop of postpartum, which is a conversation for another day, then into perimenopause.
Right.
So perimenopause is the eggs start to get less. So as I said, you have all those follicles that come up to the ovary, they start in the mine. It takes a few months to get to the top of the mine. And then rather than there being, maybe 15, there's now 6, now 5, 4, and now there's only 1. And then it gets to none. Exactly right. And so during that time, women will, some months have a completely normal cycle. Some months they won't ovulate. Some months they'll ovulate but have a really low progesterone level and a really high estrogen level, which tends to be where it starts. So your brain is trying to signal to the ovary, say, hey, we need more eggs, we need more eggs. So it's trying to push these follicles to come up. And those follicles are what actually stimulate the estrogen. So then women get a lot of estrogen. They get really heavy period at the beginning and a shortened cycle. So that's generally the first sign that a woman will get is a heavier bleed than normal and a shortened cycle, but only by like a few days. So if I have a 30-day cycle, I might now be getting like a 25-day cycle. And it's been all of a sudden you start to notice it and you go, oh, and now my mood's starting to shift a bit and my periods are getting heavier. Then they'll switch to lighter. So your periods will go from really heavy to quite light because you're potentially not ovulating, the estrogen's getting lower, and then we get less of a buildup of that lining, which creates the lighter bleed, and then we get to no bleed at all. And now the issue with that is if you zoom in, your progesterone and estrogen are roller coaster, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then if you zoom out, it's this like giant dive going down. So you have such a severe shift up and down, but really you are slowly decreasing, well not slowly, quite quickly decreasing compared to say a man's testosterone, which will decrease with age, but it's kind of like this
gradual,
slow, like cruisy river ride down.
I almost feel guilty. Sorry about that.
Yeah. But this is where, modern medicine, hormone therapy is really fantastic in this area. That's a conversation to have with a doctor, but that is there as a support for women. And, like honestly, the perimenopause patients that I see, which we do supportive care with and we work in with the doctor and their hormone therapy and trying to, negate as much as we can, they're different women. They're like borderline divorce. They don't know left from right. The brain fog, they're forgetting their keys. Vaginal atrophy and dryness, meaning the vagina is shrinking and getting drier. So you can imagine that with then low progesterone, low estrogen, low testosterone, low libido. You imagine how much fucking tension that would cause in a relationship? Of course, my vagina hurts. It's getting smaller and I have no libido in me. Right, so that's where hormone therapy can be a huge wonder. But it's such a volatile time for a woman, and a lot of relationships can suffer when it's unknown by the man and when the conversation isn't had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, anyone late 30s and beyond, if the mood is, quite cyclical, you notice that like right before you have your period, things are getting really hectic and you can potentially start to go, okay, maybe this is a perimenopause thing. And just, having the conversations with your partner and going, I don't feel quite right, or I think I'm going through perimenopause, I might need a bit of extra support. And for you guys to be like, okay, what can I do for you? And, maybe it means taking off some of the mental load. So not just doing a task, but doing all the preparatory steps to go to the task, right? Like all good and well to go out and get the shopping, but if you need to ask for what the list is and what we're low on, that's another part of the problem. But, there's things like that can really support a woman who's going through such a volatile time where the mood boosting, the anti-anxiety, the bone building, hormones are starting to deplete. This is why postmenopausal women, their increased risk of diseases, lifestyle diseases, cancers, heart disease, diabetes increases after menopause because you don't have those healthy doses of those hormones coming through.
It's not fair, is it?
Yeah, it's
It's
wild.
not
So we
fucking
go
fair.
literally
The
we go
discrepancy between men and women.
Yeah.
Wow. We get erections though, random ones. At any time.
Any slight movement.
And guys, apparently we tuck them under the belt.
We do.
I've
stop
learned
giving away our
something too.
secrets.
You guys are
I
also
need 2
experts.
belts.
Oh my God. There is so much that I don't know about. But I want to say thank you so much for explaining it in a way that for me is really easy to digest. And I think there's so many dads out there who will benefit from more information that hasn't been as available to them as it should be.
100%. I can guarantee any dads listening, if you sat here for the hour and listened, you will know that much more than someone who hasn't. Just learning basics is so huge because then you can know how to support it that bit better. And just being there, riding the wave with the women alongside, because it's wild. We go from periods to then potentially a pregnancy to postpartum, which wow, and then into peri and then menopause.
Well, you're doing great work, Jackie.
And you guys go.
It's been a pleasure being on the wave with you today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to go and
Appreciate
track my wife's cycle.
Yes,
now.
I love it.
And I appreciate you coming in and spending some time with
Thanks,
us. Hopefully,
guys.
we get to sit down again and go through the rest of everything else that there is, because this was so much information.
There is so much to do. Yeah.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks, guys.
Can I be just really quickly?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to be dumb here because you the bleed at the start and the finish, but the first bleed is 8 days.
The first bleed, so is day 1. It's generally about a 4 to 7 day bleed.
Yep.
And then we go through, we ovulate, and then we make
And that-
progesterone.
The first bleed and the last bleed are the same.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
It's
Don't
like
have to yell, guys.
It's like the curtain connector I haven't put in yet.
Bookends.
Copy.
Bookends.
That's a better
right?
analogy than the curtain connector.
Bleed, period. Bleed, period.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's the same, yeah.
We bleed, that triggers day 1. So there's the bleed, the period, and then the cycle is the whole length from bleed to bleed. Bookends.
Got it.
But the bleed to bleed bookend's the same bleed.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes, essentially.
Sorry.
So it's a cycle.
Yes.